God, I miss football season. XFL is going to have to do for this backdrop.
It ain't gonna cut it.
Sweat Equity Podcast coming to you from the home of the Tampa Bay Vipers.
Woo!
Yeah. Probably the worst team in the XFL.
Favored to win it all at the beginning of the year, you know that?
Our guest today, Adrienne Airhart, comedian, director of marketing, living in both worlds. Got an exciting interview with her. She's in the cannabis community. Funny friend, excited to bring it in. Her website is Craydrienne, CRAYDRIENNE. That's craydrienne.com. All right, let's get into some plugs real quick. This is a podcast that I have to say at the top, we're the best comedy business podcast in the fucking world. There's 900,000 podcasts, and we appreciate you listening to this one. Number one in the rankings for comedy business.
Yes.
If that exists. We're a pragmatic entrepreneurial advice podcast with dick jokes. Hashtag GirthyRI. Hashtag 69ing B2B. Hashtag Sweat Equity. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Laughable, YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo. We are sponsored by. The best thing you can do, really, before I get into the sponsor links, is share this with a friend.
Give me money.
If you got a friend trying to do that side hustle, needs some help, or just needs to get the demons out, they're lonely, they need a conversation that imitates,
They need to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Look at these losers.
They need online friends, internet friends.
Yes.
My favorite
A
phrase.
new thing.
Share this with them. It's all about hustle. They can send us questions. We'll answer them on air. This episode is brought to you by Grasshopper, the business phone line. Don't be a jabroni with a Google Voice number. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Get you $50 off a business phone line. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Get you $50 off that business phone line. Don't have two cell phones. You just have an app on your phone. Forwards all the calls. I've got it on my phone. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. $50. Holler if you hear me. FreshBooks. We're getting into tax season. You hear that, Liberty Tax, Statue of Liberty mascots? I see you. Go freshbooks.com/sweat. Get you the hookup. $50 off having the software. If you go freshbooks.com/sweat. That's go freshbooks.com/sweat. You say it 3 times so people memorize it. Gets you the hookup. Next business day, direct deposit. And if you have a Chase Bank, direct deposit that day.
Oh, man.
Big time. Big time. They're making moves over QuickBooks over Zero with an X. Go freshbooks.com/sweat. And lastly, Warby Parker, warbyparkertrial.com. .com/sweat. Get 5 free pairs to try on eyeglasswear, sunglasswear at home. It fits my fat head. It'll fit yours. warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. That's warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. All these links will probably be in the episode description.
Maybe. If I remember.
I'll go in and edit it.
No, you won't.
Nah. And that's it. You feeling good, Eric?
I feel amazing.
Yeah!
Okay.
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity.
Hotty toddy! Yeah!
What about my sweat equity?
You gotta get a little hotty toddy and get fired up, right?
Adrienne, what do you think about the hottie toddy?
That's for football, right?
Yeah.
Anything
Damn.
but this. Anything but this.
I wanted a old school radio lead in. A lot of guys have their whatever, they're kind of hello. I always liked that, so I was trying to think of one, and I just copied one that already existed in another way. Not
Couldn't have
radio
copied a better
podcast.
one, huh?
I don't know. There's something about screaming hotty toddy. It gets you a little fired up.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Is that a drink too? A hottie toddy?
Yes. Yeah, it can be. Yeah. Now you're getting it. Now it's all. It's only cool stuff, right?
Don't encourage
Okay.
him.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it.
Eric hates it, so he's happy when I forget to do it. Let's do professional stuff and bring you in as our guest, Adrienne Airhart, comedian, buddy of mine. We've only met, I think, in person once, I believe, but have been internet friends
Jesus.
What? I just like saying that. I like saying internet friends.
We're internet friends.
And then any girl
On the World Wide Web.
If I do get a girlfriend one day, call her my lady friend. That'd be very Florida. And then I'm gonna have a ponytail, and that's how I roll the rest of my life. But stand-up comedian, you are. I do like the cut of your jib because you're in a similar way like I was or am. Is like you have a professional life, and you do comedy at night. There's just not a lot of stand-ups, not a lot of people I met in the stand-up world that actually have a real day job, like a real career.
Not waiting tables.
Yeah, something mindless or something just to get by. It seems like
You don't wait tables, do you?
Nope.
Oh, thank God.
nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying like you're entrepreneurial, but in a professional way, from what I can gather, over the years and stuff. So, what are you doing in the cannabis world? Any of that you can talk about or no?
You can talk. Nothing is off limits.
Okay. I want to make sure.
Good to know.
I should have pre-interviewed, but I didn't,
No,
whatever.
you're good. Everything's good.
So what are you doing in the cannabis community? I see a lot of stuff you're posting. Looks interesting. I'm always interested in that sector because I've said like CBD is the new CrossFit, basically of business douchiness. And I'm wondering, there's just got to be so many jabronis in that world now, and for someone like you that's probably analytical, you probably have a lot of thoughts in your head about what's going on.
The jabronis was just so triggering. I feel so East Coast right now. Yeah, I've been in cannabis for a long time now, since my arrest in Florida before I left to come to LA. And right now I'm the director of marketing and operations at a shop that also has a distribution center and an event space. So there's a lot,
It's like a brewery.
a lot to that job.
That's a good
sure.
gateway drug.
Well, I looked at I looked at wanting to get breweries when I had my my agency running, full steam ahead, and I really wanted breweries because I thought, okay, they have to spend a certain amount. But then I really looked at that model; they all follow the same one, and you really become an event space unless you do distributing, for beer, at least for your own beer. If you're not making your own beer and doing the distribution correctly,
Yeah, you're just a bar.
You're basically a bar that makes its own shit. And so
Sure.
but they don't get that in a lot of space. And so I'm curious in event space for what's going on in there. Like a lot of hacky sack tournaments or what?
Way to
mics.
stereotype the community, man.
Oh, you haven't seen my stand up in a while. I'm a hack. You forget. I'm a hack sack. Yeah.
I'm the new face of cannabis. Someone like me who gets up at 6 and does yoga and works a full-time job and then has programs they go to for self-help and does cryotherapy.
As she wears a robe. As we do.
You look like you just crawled out of bed. But
Yeah.
I just got out of the shower
I know.
after a full day of doing shit.
we know that. I'm just saying.
No, we're just kidding. It just anybody that's watching this would be like, "What?"
I'm successful.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's a full-time heavy job. And the event space, I was actually in it last night. I threw an event for my staff, a sound bath with like weird hippie music. And we had a tarot card reader and a henna tattooer and a massage therapist because it's LA and that's what you do.
I'm spiritual.
It was great.
Not religious. I'm spiritual. Yeah.
I can't take any credit for the event. My assistant threw it and did everything. I just gave her the ideas and said yes and no and paid for things. But the space is supposed to be neutral so that you can come do any event there. But the hope is that when they start releasing consumption licenses in LA outside of West Hollywood, where the Lowell Cafe is, that we'll be first in line for a consumption cafe.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I lived in West Hollywood once upon a time. That's like the
Humble brag.
that's like the gayest.
I know.
Oh yeah, Boys Town. I was right in the middle of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the guy I'm dating lives there too, so it's not all gay.
Woo.
Yeah.
I've got questions about arrest. The guy you're dating. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of irons in the fire. What was the arrest? I don't know about that. What happened?
What happened was it was outside the Funky Buddha. Have you been to Boca and performed there?
I've heard of it just through. I've just seen it through knowing the South Florida comics, like y'all,
Yeah.
or your former South Florida comic. But I don't know. I've never been there now.
Well, it's in Boca. It's on Federal Highway near FAU. I used to go there when I was in college, and I was out back on my first date with my now ex-husband, smoking weed in my car, and I got popped. And it's just the cop happened to be training a rookie, so I was actually like arrested that time. Because you're from Florida too. I've been thrown in cuffs hella times and never been arrested, but
Made an example of.
yeah, they had to do it that
I
night.
don't know if that was
And
a
I was.
prerequisite Floridian thing. Like,
Yeah, I've
never
personally
really had that.
never been put in handcuffs, but I got lucky. I
Well,
mean,
you're from the west coast of Florida. It's different.
oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
okay,
know.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Y'all's different out there.
Yeah,
Everything runs a little slower. Everything's a little more calm.
yeah, over Boca Raton, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Boca's fast paced compared.
those Buicks go up to 30 in the 30 zone. No, that's you've been handcuffed a bunch and not arrested.
Right. It talked my way out of most things.
White privilege. Yeah.
Jewish privilege. I don't know.
I'm
Just
I'm
good at
totally
talking.
kidding. No.
I think it's probably less white privilege and more pretty girl privilege. I'm not gonna lie. So
you're a pretty girl that knows you're a pretty girl.
I've been told
worst.
so much in the last 6 months that I have to like stop saying that I don't think I am, because people are getting actively angry at me. So I'm trying to lean into it, but trust, I do not think that I'm a pretty girl. I'm just accepting.
I can relate. No, but
Yeah.
the only people that tell me this are other male comics that I know, and I'm like, I don't know. It's not anything outside world, but they're like, you're a good looking guy. And I'm like that, but they'll tell me that
Who?
a lot of dude, a lot of guy comics. I don't know. Look, I'm gonna turn
Go
some
to
guys.
another school.
Yeah, you don't know them. I met them at camp, but no, there are a lot of straight guy comics. I'm gonna turn them gay. I'm gonna turn them around. But I'm saying, like, I'm always fascinated with the self awareness of that, to be able to weaponize it in a way that's good for you. And the hot chick sector, not straight guy turning.
Yeah, I never thought I was hot. And then during my divorce, my husband said so many horrible things to me that I really just did not believe that I was attractive. And it's taken the full 6 months and dating several people, including some comedians, for me to believe it. And like it's been in the last few weeks saying things on stage about like not feeling attractive, or like talking to conversation, and people get like very angry with me because they're like, you're a hot girl, you need to shut the fuck up right now. And then like it's a visceral reaction. So I either just don't mention my looks, or I just accept that that's part of it. And I know that getting out of many arrests was definitely part of it.
Yeah, being a hot chick is a superpower for sure.
Yeah,
Not-
knowing it.
But having a personality and being a hot chick and not knowing you're a hot chick until whatever 6 months ago, or the last 6 months or whatever, is pretty funny to me. But that is like, that's what I think a lot of guys look for. I don't know. I'm always attracted to the female comic because they have that personality, and it's just much hotter if they're funny and can kind of charm their way out of shit.
Some people like it, some people don't. I'm very damaged. I have a lot of baggage. And in my head, I'm still, the 14-year-old flat-chested, big-nosed Jewish girl who played the tuba and danced ballet. And like that's who I feel like I am inside.
I think that's a lot of people still feel like they're the 14-year-old, like before puberty fully hits, sort of thing. I think that's like a theory.
Oh,
psychological theory of some kind.
Look, if we're talking, this is a business and kind of comedy podcast of sorts, and it's like, in both those worlds, it's just a lot of people either kind of stoicism, kind of philosophy, going through that, like trying to work through that insecurity, by their work, or faking the funk and being like that performer comic that's like super clean. It does dancing on stage, and then is the fucking biggest dirtball when you talk to them.
Yeah.
They do church gigs, and then they're the fucking grossest people you hang out with. And that's like, I don't know. I feel like in the business world, there's plenty of people faking the funk. Like any realtor is like,
Yeah.
just that there's mounds of insecurity going on with every realtor I've ever met at like any business function.
The ratio of like motivational, you can do it people compared to the actual people doing things is absurd. It's like 50-50. Where it's like, I'm into leadership. Like, what does that mean?
What'd you do to get there?
Right.
How did you lead someone?
Well, I just am into leadership. I'm a leader.
Right. I paid $5,000 for Tony Robbins, and I got the certificate. It's pretty cool.
I paid the money, so.
So do you find? How about this? Have you found out? Here's something you may not have discovered that took me a while. I still struggle with this. Is to be able to use a lot of the skills you have with comedy, and it does bleed into the business world. You can use it to kind of your advantage. Like I found when I met with clients that didn't really know me that well, I try to tell them in the first couple of minutes that I do stand up at night. This is kind of my part-time moonlighting career for the last 12 years or so, semi-professional, because I feel like I don't know, calling yourself a professional comic, you should just be paying the bills with that. So there's that insecurity where I already knocked down myself telling these people. What happens though is I found that, I always preface the meeting with that. I was like, because if I give a weird kind of example or metaphor, it's just kind of my way of trying to figure out how to communicate something that's a little hard. And that's kind of what stand-up is. And then what happens is, instead of having to have 3 or 4 meetings with this person, we end up, it's 1 or 2, right? Because they let their guard down. And they want to tell you stuff because, and a lot of consulting stuff, they don't have anybody to talk to for the most part. So you're kind of doing a little therapy. But everybody, like, they let their guard down.
They know you're vulnerable.
Well, no, they're
open to be vulnerable.
Whatever, I don't know what they think of comedians. I go, whatever your favorite comedian is, I'm not that. I'm probably not that person. That's probably not my style.
I'm not as funny as them.
No, I don't have that style. Whatever it is, it's usually not. They're like, I love Seinfeld. I'm like, you won't like my act. Like you don't want to see me trying to riff conversationally on stage. I don't know if you found any kind of leveraging what you've done in the stand-up world to your professional world. Any of that?
For sure. I think you and I have very different experiences as a man and a woman.
Okay.
In the industry. I mean, comedy alone is a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
Cannabis is still incredibly male-dominated, and in my professional life as a computer programmer, also very male-dominated.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly having to prove myself and not feel like an imposter. And I usually nowadays don't let people, especially my Lyft drivers, know that I'm a comedian, because it just it ruins everything. It ruins my day. It ruins my life. I don't want to hear their suggestions for bits.
Yeah. I'm talking.
How? Jeez. Okay.
No, I don't.
And that's in business settings too. Like LA is a much more casual place than the East Coast. Everything runs slower. When you're talking to somebody in a meeting and someone mentions that you're a comedian, then it's like, where can I come watch you perform? Are you really a comedian? How long have you been doing it? What kind of jokes do you do? Do you like Amy Schumer? Are you like Amy Schumer? Do you like Roseanne? And then it's just like on incessant questioning, and it changes the dynamic of the meeting. I prefer to keep that out of my professional life if I can.
Yeah, I guess you have a backdrop of that, of Hollywood kind of around. So everybody's kind of tangentially like interested in that, in that world, even if they're not in it at all. That you're 3 people away from someone that does something interesting like that. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, I remember living out there, and I was out there for like 5-6 years, and it was like, it is very casual like that. And it is like, well, let's play the name game. Have you noticed this? The weird thing about LA, okay, second biggest city land size, like land county wise.
I understand.
Okay, just follow me. Jacksonville's number 1. Jacksonville, Florida.
I was going to say
Duval
that.
County, what up? Who's a nerd? This guy. You've got like 20 million people in LA, but like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, where you're like, you would never run into the same person twice just randomly in one area of LA. It's like, actually, it happens a lot because like it's basically like Hollywood, West Hollywood, getting over to Westwood to Brentwood, Santa Monica.
We get it.
Palisades.
Geography.
Palisades, like down to.
Can't do local bits, man. Can't do local bits.
But I mean, like, it's just like
evergreen.
this little area of LA where a lot of people just kind of stay in that area, and then you've got 11 million people that live in like Riverside doing meth. Like you have like that's east LA. So it's like it is one of those things where you can get in this weird bucket of people that kind of live in this like these certain parts of LA that
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in the West Side anymore. If you move to the West Side, bye forever. I mean, you're only 11 miles away, but it takes an hour to get there, and I have to go over the hill, and I might lose service. I'm good. Thank you. Right. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still like you know, I would run into people like when I was living in West Hollywood. I'd run into people that I knew, you know, that lived in Brentwood or whatever, and you're like, it's just weird.
OJ.
And yeah, well,
Okay.
OJ's house is like literally pretty. Like you can still drive by it, I think. But
yes, you can.
Yeah. Why would they close the street down?
I mean, he's not guilty, guys. So you know.
Yeah.
I saw the documentary.
His documentary.
So in your professional life, going against the grain, do you find you've got that FU thing? I'll prove it. Is the gender part a little? Does it weigh on you a lot?
Oh yeah,
it does.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to like run a bit. Maybe I'm just very naive. I don't know. Like I don't know how prevalent that actually is in the working world for a lot of women.
Incredibly prevalent.
Okay.
Incredibly
prevalent. Very dramatic.
Anything you can, yeah, that was, I was like, did we lose reception?
Yeah,
What's she doing?
like, what is happening?
Did she hear us?
She's going to stab us over the
If
internet?
you're listening to this on audio, she just gave her own close-up to get dramatic. So any example you want to talk about or can talk about?
I mean, today or like this week or yesterday, like it's
daily.
Really,
bruh? It's
oh man, I'm sorry.
It's better in comedy,
naive.
Especially in LA because of the Me Too movement. And I feel like a lot of comics will mention the Me Too movement right after saying something. Like a big headliner the other day, I was at the comedy store, and he saw me in the hallway, and he goes, "You look like Heather Locklear when she was young."
God damn, Sam Tripoli. God damn it. No.
It was not him, but the guy I'm dating opens for him. But it wasn't Sam.
He's our friend of the program. He's a good buddy.
It was somebody bigger than that. And I was like, Sam. Even bigger than Sam Tripoli.
You're gonna get yelled talk to by Sam Tripoli. Hey, what'd you say about me? Yeah, that's my Sam Tripoli.
I think if I said the name, he would know, and he would be like, yeah, he's bigger.
Yeah.
But it was like, I came to the store. My friend, my roommate, Nicole Amy Schreiber, had recorded Lights Out with David Spade. So we went to the store to go watch her there with all her friends and everything. And I was just in a hoodie, no makeup on, just chilling. And then he turns around and says that to me. He looks like Heather Locklear. And all of a sudden, I'm not a fellow comic anymore. I'm like a pretty girl amongst a bunch of men. And it just completely changed the whole dynamic. And I wasn't able to have a normal conversation about comedy or what gigs are coming up or, my roommate or anything. Then it was all just like, all the dudes were just like thinking about sex.
Yeah, you get bucketed, right? Like
Was it the way he said it? Or it was obviously not a compliment. Like he wasn't trying to be nice.
It was a compliment.
But
it was a compliment.
I'm just curious, like if it was
you look
like
Heather
a creepy
Locklear
way or like.
Yeah,
he's a guy who says stuff like that all the time, and I was like, "Cool, thank you so much." And then he's like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Florida." And he's like, "Are you Jewish?" And I was like, "I'm half Jewish." And he goes, "Okay, you're beautiful." And it was jarring because I've seen him.
I have guesses
before.
I'm not going to say any.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the name. It's just not what you do in LA.
No.
But it totally changed the whole atmosphere, and it's already. The community is already so predatory towards women, and everyone knows I'm single now, so that's like really, really stressful for me. I feel like I was protected by the guise of a relationship and then a marriage for a long time, and everyone knows now that I'm single. So it's like I don't know if I'm getting booked on things because they think I'm funny or because they think that if I come, maybe we'll hang out after or something. So it's like I'm feeling empathy for women. Because I've never been single in the comedy industry. Like I started doing comedy when I started dating my ex-husband, following him, hanging out with him at Mike's, and then eventually doing it myself. Now he doesn't even do stand-up anymore, and I do stand-up because it's my thing. And it's a weird dynamic for me right now. So I'm a special case because the community is small and everybody hears everything very quickly, so everybody knows right now. So ask me again in 6 months and it'll be different.
So gossipy. Yeah, it is a bunch of, like,
It's high school.
Well, we're talking about insecurity, right? That's, if there's a through line for this kind of, you coming on talking about this stuff, that's all that stuff reeks of insecurity. All right. So that guy talking to you, here's how I see it. The guy talking to you, in my head, he's gotten to a certain level, but he's still the insecure guy. So it's almost like, I think what Eric was trying to lead to maybe was, it's almost like an attack compliment. It's like, it's like you look like this, instead of saying something genuinely just nice.
Well, yeah, there's just like an obvious tone to things that when you retell a story, it might not be obvious, but you're living it, and it's like you were definitely being a dick, creep, weirdo.
And I wasn't offended. It was a nice compliment. He was very nice to me. And if I see him again, he'll remember me now because he's he thinks I look like Heather Locklear. Right. Yeah, which I don't see at all, but
sometimes that, but I call it bucketing. Like, sometimes you get introduced to someone and they reference you as this person. I get it around here in Tampa Bay because my family's kind of been here forever and they're very social in the area. And it's like, oh, this is his little brother or her little brother or whatever. And it's like, then you're just kind of that forever. And I'm like, well, no, I fucking crush it in the professional world doing this, doing this, and this, and like helping businesses grow from here to here and all this stuff. Consulted 400 businesses, but you can get bucketed as, dipshit little brother sometimes, and then you can never get to that professional meeting that you wanted to talk to that person about,
Or someone's wife. I've been known as someone's wife for a while now.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Do you think if he had picked a more accurate celebrity that you look like would have been less offensive?
Should we just do that offensive. The rest of the episode?
That's not the point. It was not offensive. She's gorgeous, and like I don't think I look like her. No, I don't think so. I think it was my hair is big. He thinks I have big hair. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Big hair, okay.
I told the guy I'm dating, and he was like, "No, accurate. Yeah, you look like Heather Locklear." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna accept that." I was not offended. I was not offended that he called me Heather Locklear. If he had done it quietly when no one else could hear, it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
It was just that it made me
so there you go.
Something different.
Right. It's insecure, right? He's putting it out there, and it sounds like, if I'm guessing, it sounds like it was not like a green room or something. It was like a weird conversation starter. Yeah, it's like
more of a show of around.
Let me say this almost openly and not really think about who this person might actually be. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter if you make a bunch of money, successful in comedy or business. There's still guys that are they have that. Like they'll never lose that, right? It's still insecurity, right? It'll keep them. It'll in one way it can keep that inertia going, right?
I mean, just today I forget the.
Gotta prove it.
The
I gotta prove it. I got a fucking Tesla.
Female comic on Joey Diaz's podcast talking about
Chelsea Skidmore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her interactions with Harvey Weinstein. It's just like, geez, like, oh my God, like this poor girl, like
brutally
she's
honest.
a week into getting to LA, and like she thinks this awesome stuff is happening, and it's like this guy literally just jerks off in front of her. It's like, oh my God, man.
And I thought it was very good because she's super honest about, like, look, a lot of people say they would run away at that moment. It's like you're in shock. You don't even know what's going on.
You don't want to blow your big chance. Like.
Well, yeah, that's like in your.
All I have to do is I don't actually have to touch the guy. Okay, maybe just this once. I don't know. Like I'm new.
You won't blow your chance if you let him blow his load. Everyone knows that.
On the rug on the carpet.
That's a good through line.
Well, she didn't do anything in this interview. She's talking about. She's like, I didn't do anything. He would just start jerking off.
Yeah,
and then finish in front of her, and it was like on the floor, and she was like, I gotta go.
I mean,
and it's like. And the way he was bringing her up was very sneaky and gross. Like, no, not this. Like,
kept forgetting things.
I'm not going to be creepy this time. Yeah, I'm not going to be creepy this time, and then be.
It's not going to be like that.
Yeah, I know some guys like that. I can't hang out with them. I don't want to talk to them. It's just bad people to hang around, just in general. But
how nice for you to have that luxury to choose who you hang out with and whose shows you do.
No. I'm not saying shows. I'm just saying people in general. I I don't have ultimate autonomy. I'm not saying like I can do it like a Guess Who board for everybody. I'm saying like I've really tried to, and I'm thinking a lot like you, maybe a little bit over analytical sometimes, right? It's probably what makes you good at what you do for marketing, right? Because you're thinking out every scenario, contingency plans. You've got an assistant, which means you're like having an assistant's fucking awesome. Like I want an assistant so bad. I want a hairless little gay guy. I want, yeah.
Share. I want you to share them with me.
Yeah.
I don't need
Just
my
for
own.
business.
Just give me yours.
Just for business, yeah. No, but I want because my gay buddies are very organized, and I'm not clerical, administrative, like
All the gay ones.
all my gays, yeah, all my gay mafia friends in this area at least.
I know a couple of very disorganized gay guys.
I don't want them. I don't hang
There's
out.
a lot.
With them.
There's a lot
Get
of
'em
gay.
outta
No,
here.
I'm kidding. I'm definitely like just generalizing, but I'm saying like it's one of those things where I just really try to look at a lot of stuff going through divorce at the moment. Similar, like, all right, I just need to kind of cut some shit out of nothing. I needed to kind of work on 4 things, not 13. That was one big thing. Someone else told me, and I was like, okay, that was a good call. And then the other part was I don't need to hang around. Why am I forcing hanging around people I don't want to? I don't think it's any benefit to me growing as a person. You know, you can hang out after a comedy show, but you know, there's sometimes it's awesome, but most of the time you should just be going home to go write. You know, and I've been trying to do that, like that little thing, right?
Literally 5 minutes before the podcast, you're like, I need to put myself out there more. Just get out there and mingle more.
Yeah. No, I need to do that, but okay. So even
You gotta
that,
hang out.
but even
You gotta
that
hang out.
on a business level, that was focused. That's measured. I'm looking at things that aren't.
You're talking just socially.
Yeah, but I
Strictly
mean,
so.
like community wise, I try to think about it like community wise. I like doing volunteering effort because I feel something good back, not because I'm a good human. It just feels good to do volunteer work to me.
So selfish.
Hey, the end result works. Whatever.
I don't have time to volunteer. I'm working on myself, so
Well,
that takes a lot of time.
there's another thing I had to figure out too. Is like the oxygen mask for the baby on the flight in an emergency situation.
You first.
I always thought it was weird to give it to yourself first. I'm like, that's fucking selfish. But you can't give it to the fucking baby if you don't give it to yourself.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
you won't have oxygen. And so
Yep.
that's like the perfect metaphor of like, you can't go do a lot of shit unless you get like your core shit done.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Totally. I'm hyper productive right now. This is actually my second divorce, so the trauma is real.
Yeah.
And it's uprooted a lot of stuff, and I'm in a lot of therapy and working on myself. And then because I was running every day to try to stop the demons from chasing me, I ended up tearing my hip, which is probably from the 20 years of ballet that I did, but running did not help with that. And I've been nonstop, like from the minute he decided he didn't want to be with me anymore, and then I found out about all the affairs.
Oh.
I just have been like, I moved out, I froze my eggs, I filed for divorce. So it's been quite the wild ride.
Well, good for you. You took action. You know, it doesn't sound like you wallowed. You kind
For
of
2 weeks.
look, and
I spent 2 weeks in bed.
yeah, that's a lot less than I think most people.
I
I
know.
was in the shitter for a long time, for sure. Like going.
Well,
through
you
it.
also have kids.
Yeah, for sure.
That is a
and
big part of.
that throws a lot of variables in for
Yeah.
sure.
And it's easier when you can hate them, because I didn't know about the cheating for 2 weeks, so I hated myself. And then the minute I found out about the affairs, I was like, oh, okay. Well, you get out, and my life moves on now.
Well, how are you using that inertia to like? Are you using that to get shit going now? Because it looks like from what I can see, you're getting on stage a lot more, regardless of this because you're single. I'm betting it's because you're more driven.
Spite energy is
For
the
sure.
best energy.
Yeah, we talk about
For sure.
spite fuel. You know, use that spite as fuel, like it's an energy.
I'm
drink.
angry, for sure.
Yeah.
But most of my jokes right now are about what happened to me and what's still happening to me. I've pretty much folded most of the shit I was doing before. I basically took 2 years off from when I got married from stand-up, because I was focusing on my family life and trying to be a good wife. and my cannabis career, which was doing really well. I had a cannabis talk show, so I wasn't really doing stand up. And then, like 2 weeks after the breakup, I got back on stage, and that's how most of the comedy community found out that we were getting divorced, was from that set that night.
Oh yeah, that's a fun gossip too. I still have to tell
Mm.
people. Yeah, ours isn't as public. But it's one of those things. It's like that's good to hear. Like I feel for you. And look, you can hit me up anytime. I know we're not BFFs, but I at least empathize with the situation. So if you want to vent, you can just remember I'm on East Coast time. It's like
I appreciate that. There's been so many people have reached out to me with either other traumatic events or their own divorces or their own people cheating on them, and it's overwhelming how many people reach out to me still every day.
I was super depressed if I didn't have Eric and like 100 friends that I would call up and kind of talk this out with. It would have been way fucking harder.
Just like one of the other 100?
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, you're in like top 20 for sure. No,
What?
No, but I would see Eric every day in our office, and it was like, let me bitch for like 15 minutes, and then we'll get to going.
My best friend at work,
Sad dad,
who's my best friend in real life, got broke up with her girlfriend like a week after me and my husband separated. So we were like going through it at the same time, leaning on each other. Yeah. And then I came out of it faster because I just put my head down and just barreled through life. And I was at work giving myself shots in the stomach for the hormones for the egg freezing, like on my lunches and stuff, like literally in the office, just like close the door for a second, shoot myself, get up. I'm feeling sick. I'm feeling bloated. I feel like shit. I'm also on antidepressants trying to get through this, and then the actual procedure happens and I have to recover from the procedure while still going to work and shit. And then I started running again pretty soon thereafter. And I'm dating the whole time. I've dated like 4 people during this interim.
Yeah.
And I was running myself ragged, and I've just recently, yes, I'm in love with someone now, and I've calmed down significantly.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And
we have a studio
it's amazing
here. They did the woo.
It was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my thing. I'd call out a fun bit and then ruin it.
No. It was like
it wasn't that fun.
It wasn't funny. No. Look,
I know
you get dad jokes. You don't have to say no, but you inherit dad grip, dad reflexes, but dad jokes for sure.
Yeah.
And you did something Eric and I have talked about this podcast a lot, is the anger run.
Huh?
I would have shit that would, God, I hate using this word, would trigger me. I'd read something from a text that was pissed me off. And when I listened to like that David Goggins book, which is all just like fucking run until pain doesn't matter kind of shit. He's all mind over matter as far as it's, pain of working out and shit. I really tried to apply a little bit of that and just like get up and work out. And if shit pisses you off, I would go, okay, put the shoes on and just, if you can't run, just walk for an hour, but just do it. Do it until you're not.
You've only got so much energy.
Yeah. Do it until you're not angry.
Use it on that.
So I'd be like, I was looking at my runs and they'd be like, oh, I haven't run 8 miles in, I don't know, fucking 7 years. And it was like, well, I was pretty pissed that day. So it's like, you did something that I think is actually healthy minus, the hip part. That's just an injury that sucks. But we're going 35 minutes. So I want to make sure we're keeping it as tight for you. Cause you said you had a busy day, even though you're in a kimono in bed, but I'm kidding.
Claim to have had a busy day.
It takes me 10 minutes to get ready. So when the next podcast gets here, I'll be ready.
You have another one after this?
Yeah, it's 6:30. So by 6:15, if I'm out of here, I can get ready and be ready by then, because then I have a dinner and then I have a party.
Holy cow.
Well, look, that's cool to hear, because you're getting out there. You're in love. You're doing stand-up. Your professional life's going well. I would say this is a good interview about how to get out of that muck. Around all the insecurity circling. We'll end on this. What is the advice? If you had a time machine, you can go back, talk to a teenage, the 14-year-old flat-chested, half Jewish.
Playing the tuba.
You're still half Jewish, but yeah, playing the tuba. You still got those tuba skills probably, but what would you say if you could travel back in time to talk to that 14-year-old Adrienne and go, here's some advice you need to follow, because I wish I knew this shit.
I'd probably say to her, "You're going to be hot and funny, so ignore all the dudes right now."
Yeah.
Because that ruined my life. Like tying myself to a man. Every time I made a decision because of a man, it ruined my life.
Yeah, being codependent on the relationship instead of being, mutually beneficial and y'all be independent people. Yeah.
I'm working on that now. It's hard to get through, especially when you have a childhood of abuse and then abuse again in your adult years. It's hard, but I'm not codependent anymore, and I'm in a lot of therapy. So
Good.
I would tell Adrienne that start sooner. Start trying not to be codependent sooner, and just know that you're going to be hot and funny, and then you don't have to worry about trying to make yourself those things.
And if I can give pragmatic advice for anybody listening, we try to give real nerd pragmatic tips, but like, there's a lot of online therapy you can do. I did it to get into like real one-on-one therapy stuff. And now, God damn it, I can't remember the name of the fucking website, but BetterHelp. Yes. Yeah. That's the one I use to kind of like, I've never done therapy on my own. Let me check this out. It put me with a person because you fill out a form, and it actually put me with a person that's pretty good for what I needed. But not all therapists are that good. You should date a few therapists before you go.
I did for sure.
You go steady with
I had
one.
a couple that didn't work out. Now I have one. She's the best. She's awesome.
We had 4 marriage counselors, and the third or the fourth, I was like, this is a disciplinarian guy I need to talk to. So that became my guy. But yeah, thanks for coming on. And seriously, hit me up anytime. I don't care how weird or random it is.
I appreciate that.
You know how it is with comics. You just get random calls all the time anyway. But
all the time. Yep.
I won't send any dick pics, I swear. And if I do, it'll be someone's like a good dick. So
you wouldn't dare. I know that.
No, I'd never. No, not mine. Mine.
You're a gentleman.
My dick's a bummer, so I'm very modest about any of that. So
they're mostly bummers, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, none of them are good.
I don't like any
Nobody's
of them.
Nobody's like, ooh, what a great.
Some
dick.
of them are great.
Okay. Well, I guess
this is time to go. I guess this is when we call it. No, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
See you later.
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity.